Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people of Bustler, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. We've got games ready to tip off. We're getting ready to drop the puck. And I tell you what, it's been straight fire in the NBA over the last couple of nights. Absolutely epic, wild finish in Seatown tonight with the Dallas Mavericks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. A wild sequence to end the basketball game. Max Strus drills a 60-footer. Crowd was really going crazy. Like, you would have thought they won a championship or something tonight. Like, wicked atmosphere. Cleveland wins. Dallas covers the number. DeMar DeRozan pulled off one of the craziest dunks. I shouldn't say dunk. He didn't dunk it. He finished it off, though. He went 360. He literally, went 360 in the air and then ended up finishing off the play. Didn't dunk it. He went glass after, but it was like, whoa, you don't see that very often. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, so last night Detroit and the Knicks, of course, started tackling each other at the end of the game, and they didn't call it. It was the same thing tonight in Cleveland and Dallas as well. It seems like, I don't know what's going on in the NBA. It's kind of cool. Josh Hart got smoked in the face tonight by Zion. He was bleeding. They didn't even call a foul on the play, right? We're going old school suddenly in the association. We're liking it. Let's rock. So we got a full house on the program tonight. We'll get to everything. We've got NBA basketball, college basketball, NHL hockey. Speaking of NBA basketball, we're pulling the trigger. This is risky because the Oklahoma City Thunder have won and covered 5 games in a row, but we're going to take the double digits with the Houston Rockets, getting 10 on national television tonight. We'll welcome Sirius XM here in a second, and we'll rattle off some early picks for everybody. Shout out to everybody joining us on Sirius XM Channel 159. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency on the SportsGrid radio and television network. So we've had a lit night so far in the NBA. We're not done. We have the Houston Rockets coming up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma are scorching hot. They've won and covered 5 consecutive basketball games. Houston are not playing their best basketball yet. Getting double digits. National television does change things a little bit. Houston are going to be engaged in this basketball game, so it's going to be up to Oklahoma City to smoke them, which they really could, but that's why we're taking the over as well. So we've got over 234 points, and we've got the Houston Rockets plus 10. College basketball, we've got a good one going on right now, and we're on the Cougars, BYU. I like BYU plus the points tonight. They were getting 8 points when it was all said and done. It was like 7.5 earlier today, and ended up going up to 8. BYU are beating Kansas outright right now. And anybody that's been listening to the show and watching my show over the years knows I'm a pretty big Rock Chalk Jayhawk guy, college basketball. I'm a Michigan fan, but I bet and, I follow Kansas closely, and that's why I know this isn't the same Kansas team. They're not the same without McCullough. They're not the same team this year, right? They just don't have the it factor. BYU, not a very good road team, but they were getting enough points that I was intrigued, and I wasn't going to take the over, but I ended up jumping in on the over because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to lose the total bet because Kansas only have 66 points, but BYU's up right now 72-66 with like 30 seconds left in the game. Iowa and Penn State, we're at the half right now. I got Penn State plus 9. They're getting 11.5. They're down right now by 8 at the break. It's 47-39. This game was a pretty high total at 163.5. In-game total at the half right now is 173.5. And I wouldn't be betting the under here. This game even started off a little slow and it started to open up. I would expect a lot of points, a lot of fouls, and a lot of three-point shots made here in the second half of this game. So we're comfortable with Penn State plus 9. They can linger and hang around here. We also have the over 163. It's 173.5 right now, but I'm not opposed to jumping in on the over 173.5 if you're not already in on it. UNLV are up on Wyoming right now, 23-19. We have a really low-scoring game. We're at the half. 23-19. Wyoming have scored 19 freaking points in the first half. The in-game total right now at the half, 114.5. Man, that's low. We'll keep our eye on this. We'll see if it comes down a little bit more and there's some fouls. We'll look for some in-game opportunities. We're going to pick our spots. So as we stated, we have the Houston Rockets plus 10. I've got over 234 points in this game. NHL hockey. It's a full slate of games, and we have a bunch of in-game action going on right now. But let's get into the game. Then they're dropping a puck in a couple of minutes here in Vancouver. A snowy, rainy, dreary Vancouver, although it is hockey weather. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Vancouver Canucks. Pittsburgh Penguins are a desperate hockey team right now, trying to play themselves into the playoffs. They haven't missed the playoffs 2 years in a row in like forever. Meanwhile, the Vancouver Canucks have been, they've been pretty consistent. They had that 4-game blip last week. They responded with a win over the Boston Bruins. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for the Vancouver Canucks, but the Canucks have just been so damn good this year. It's hard to get in front of them unless you have a really good reason. I'm expecting the Canucks to win this hockey game tonight. They're currently minus 155. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. We talked about this last night. Remember, the Dallas Stars were in action last night. They lost in overtime to the New York Islanders. They were in a bad spot tonight going into the Mile High City. It's one thing to play back-to-back. I don't automatically – the teams generally do lose, though. I don't, stay away all the time because it's a back-to-back, but you got a Dallas Star team. They're not a young team. They have a lot of veterans on their team. It was an emotional game. It went to overtime last night. They lose in overtime. Then you got to flip it and play less than 24 hours later in the highest elevation in the league. They don't call it the Mile High City just for the sake of it, all right? And it catches up to teams, although it is a close game. It's 2-1 for the Colorado Avalanche right now. In-game total is 7.5 because we've already got 3 goals, 5 minutes left in the first period of play. So as I stated, we've got a little bit of something for everybody tonight. We'll get into the Nevada and Colorado State game. Big man on campus is going to step up and join us. We're going to talk pucks with Andrew McKinnis, college basketball with Big Man. The Raging Redhead Cam Stewart in the house. We'll break down the NHL. We'll keep our eye on this Pittsburgh Penguin and Vancouver Canuck game tonight that should be an entertaining and interesting tilt in the National Hockey League. Major League Baseball, Shohei Ohtani made his debut today. And last night we talked about the craziness of the price of the Los Angeles Dodgers being minus 245 in a preseason Cactus League game. They ended up closing at minus 300. All right? They closed at minus 300. It was minus 155 on the run line. Shohei Ohtani struck out in his first at-bat, but it didn't take long for him to deliver. Ohtani hit a 2-run shot. The Dodgers were down 4-1. They ended up coming back and winning the baseball game 9-6. When it was all said and done, the Dodgers have not lost so far in the preseason. 5-0-1. You have ties in the Cactus League. So it's funny, like talking about how the Dodgers are going to do in the preseason. Yeah, they haven't lost. Let's roll. This is Sports Rage.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Twisted Tuesday has begun. This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. The Vancouver Canucks and the Pittsburgh Penguins have dropped the puck, and there's been a couple of scoring opportunities already for both teams early in this game. We're still scoreless right now. So I took the Vancouver Canucks to win the game, and I have under 6.5 at minus 135. I do believe that this, I don't think it's going to be a track meet, this game, even though they did play, I don't know, about a month and a half ago or something like that. It was a 4-3 game. It went to overtime. It was a 4-3 game. Vancouver won in Pittsburgh. And there's already a penalty in this game, so they're going on a power play already, which doesn't help my under. But I pulled the trigger on under 6.5 in this game. Cam Stewart steps up and in. Andrew McKinnis is on deck. Pittsburgh's going on the power play already because that's what Vancouver does. Let's see if it was a worthy penalty. I don't really see what he did, to be honest. I'm looking at the replay here, and a bunch of dudes collided against the boards, and somehow Vancouver got a 2-minute penalty for it. But it is what it is. Cam, who are you on in this game? Vancouver, Pittsburgh, and what'd you do with the total if you bet the total here?
I actually agree with you, Gabe. I'm on the under 6.5 as well, and I took Vancouver. I think they're going to want to not get into a track meet. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, too, they played that Philadelphia game. They won 7-6. Coaches don't like that stuff. You know that when you play hockey, playing loose and uptight. Like, you got to really, buckle down. I think it's going to be one of those games, and I don't see 7 goals in this game either. I like the Canucks to win like a 4-2 type of game tonight. Other game, Gabe, we have San Jose and New Jersey. I took San Jose plus a half puck in the first period. Over 1.5 goals, over 6.5 in the game, and S.J. Sharkey plus 1.5 with a sprinkle on the money line. I know a lot of people are going to take the Devils tonight. I just don't believe in this team, and it's dangerous when you bet put all your eggs in the basket with Sharks, but I like them as a dog tonight.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't really have a lot of interest in that Devils and Sharks game tonight. I wish you the best of luck. That's the ultimate DGen special right there. Yeah, I want no part of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like betting Cleveland State, Wright State in the Horizon League. Like, there's really, these are tough games. But you know what, Gabe? The Devils were, let's just call it out for what it is. This team, they're on a losing streak. They lost to Tampa 4-1. I'm not saying San Jose is good, but paying $2.40 with the Devils is a recipe for lost money. So I'm with the Sharky tonight. We'll see.
No, I can't. I wouldn't want to lay it. It's just, to me, it's a toss-up. It's an action game. Let's just call it out for what it is. There's no angle to it or like real. Neither team are good. You have an underachieving team against a bad team, and they're way overpriced on the road. But that's why I'm going to pass on this game. 2-1 for the Colorado Avalanche right now. The in-game total is 7.5. So we had 3 goals in the first period of play here. The Dallas Stars played last night. You're playing in altitude. It could catch up to them as this game goes on. The Los Angeles Kings are also going back-to-back. They played last night. They lost to the Edmonton Oilers last night. Now they're in Calgary this evening. Still scoreless in this game right now, Cam. The in-game total is all the way down to 3.5, minus 200 to the under 3.5. The Flames are minus 125. The Kings are minus 105. I don't like betting on this team, but I think the Flames will win this game.
Me too, Gabe. I bet the Flames live at minus 120. It's minus 130 on my site right now. I think the Kings are just a team I don't want any part of. Edmonton pulled away last night. I'm glad you won your bet, too, with the empty netter. They almost won by 3, but they won by 2. So we both won last night. I don't want any part of the Kings. As for Colorado, Dallas is a cold hockey team right now. I'm on the Avalanche, too. Already, so I don't need to lay it at 2.5. An interesting point, Gabe, all these games were going under. Like the Leafs-Vegas game was 0-0 for a while, and then it ended up 6-2. The Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game was 1-1 late in the second. They scored multiple goals. Like a lot of these games are starting off slow, and they're going bananas in the third period.
4-2 for the Winnipeg Jets right now over the Blues. Yeah, I didn't jump in on the Kings-Flames game. That game really could go either way. That's just another one that just seems like it's, you're playing blackjack. You're hitting cards. Let's bring in Andrew McInnes right now and see if he likes anything in game here. McInnes, let's start off with Pittsburgh and Vancouver. We've just dropped the puck. There hasn't been a ton of live movement. The total has come down to 5.5 already, though. Who did you like in this game with the Penguins and the Canucks tonight?
Guys, good to see you as always. I'm just on the under. I actually couldn't figure out a side that I liked, so I guess I don't really answer the question there. I think I would lean towards the home team, Gabe, with the Vancouver Canucks. But overall, I think that both teams, at their true identities, they're defensive teams. They rely on goaltending. And I think you look at this Penguins team, they've kind of gone away from it over their past few games. But I'm not scared to go back to it. I'm not scared to look towards the unders. When it comes down to it, they still have a major, major depth problem. When you look at who scores every night for this Penguins team, it's maybe 3 or 4 guys. That's a problem. People aren't giving Tristan Jarry enough credit, guys, and the goaltending crew for Pittsburgh. Remember during the playoffs with how bad he was and how bad the entire crew was for Pittsburgh? Well, this year, they've sure needed him. So I'm going to go under 6.5, and 6s are available. I'm fine with that as well because you get that plus 100 even number. So I'm going to go under with Vancouver and Pitt.
Yeah, I had to play. It was minus 35 cents for 6.5 because, the total was 6 plus 100. So I paid the 35 cents to make it 6.5. 5.5 already in game. It didn't take long for it to drop. There could be a middle opportunity if it drops to 4.5 soon. So they're at the 14-minute mark in the first period of this game. What do you think, McKinnon, said the Kings and the Flames?
I'm on the Kings, so I don't like hopping on here and going head to head with you guys. But
I don't
overall,
have anything
I just
on
think.
this.
Yeah, head to head with me.
Well, I know.
Gabe's not playing that game.
Hey, well, you know what? I don't like being against you either, Cam. That's for sure.
Okay,
so
I
like to be on the same side.
Yeah, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't trust either team, but I took Calgary. They're at home. Tough game to bet on. Gabe's right. We're playing Russian roulette here. Tough game.
You know what, though? The show name is Sports Rage. You know what I've been raging about lately? Whenever I bet on a team, guys, and they lose, and I get mad at them, the next 4 or 5 games, they look like the next coming of Jesus Christ. I mean, that's how it works
so
right now.
Ride the wave.
The Kings just scored.
So exactly, and that's
again.
There we go. So
Jesus.
I had a big bet on the Kings over the Sabres 2.5 weeks ago. The Sabres won 7-0 in that game, and the Kings have gone on to win 6 of their next 7 games after that happened. How many times did I bet the Kings, guys, do you think?
Quite a few.
You were turned off
0
after, right?
0.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
exactly.
No, they're not going to win.
That's
That's
a lesson,
worse.
Right? It's a lesson to not be turned off by a team. Every game's a new game, right?
You're right.
Tonight,
I agree.
Tonight, the stupidest line of the night, McKinnis, I talked about it last night, and it moved. This is why there's a reason to bet the overnight numbers, was the fact that the Arizona Coyotes were favorites tonight. They were minus 120. The Canadians were plus 100 last night. They ended up closing at minus 110, so it moved a bit. But listen, you watch the Canadians closely. We know that this is a rebuilding team right now. But to be home dogs against a team that's lost 12 consecutive freaking games is like the ultimate insult. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy, but they pulled it off. But I just, I was like, wow, how can you make a team that's lost 12 games in a row favorites against anything or anybody? But they did tonight.
I'm not sure if you saw the quote, Gabe. Martin St. Louis, he said that of the last 4 games, this was the worst we've looked, right? And this is the first win they've had in a handful of games. He goes, I'm not happy at all. I win. And that's what's funny. That should be a slap in the face of the Coyotes. Martin St. Louis thinks this is the worst game they've played in like 4 or 5 games, and they still win the game.
Well, that was one thing, though. That was one thing. The Coyotes have big problems behind the scenes. They've got issues with their ownership, and you know what I mean. The owner doesn't take the players' calls, etc. So they have stuff going on. But as you stated, the Canadians, even though they've been losing, they've been playing terrible, right? Arizona's just terrible. Like Montreal has just had bad puck luck, and they were due for a win. It wasn't easy tonight, but that's the way it works, right? They played better in their losses.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watching the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're kicking it. It's the Twisted Tuesday. Let's do this thing. This is SportsRage on the SportsGrid radio and television network. Pittsburgh and Vancouver still scoreless. 9 minutes in. Vancouver's on a power play right now. 26-24 for the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're on the over to 234, and I'm on the Rockets plus 10. It's 9.5, 235.5 right now. So it's right there. Blazers are up on the Heat. Of course, the Heat beat the Kings last night. Now watch them lose to the Blazers tonight. Blazers are up 17-7 early. The Heat are minus 2.5. There's 5 minutes left in the first quarter of play. College basketball, quick update right now. We got a good one going on here, Iowa and Penn State. And what did I tell you guys at the start of the show? I said I got the over 163 in Penn State, Iowa. I said it was 173 at the half, and I'm not against taking that. It's 187.5 right now. We got a track meet going. It's 62-55 with 15 minutes left. Texas are beating up Texas Tech 57-30. They're minus 20.5 right now. You know what? I think Texas Tech plus 20.5 is the play. I'm going to jump in on the Red Raiders. They're not going to quit.
I hope not. Yeah, no, they're at home. They should come back. I agree with you. Who knows?
So these are not bad plays when you get in on these like late teams. You did it the other night in that Charlotte game. Right, you get these when teams are getting blasted, McInnes, in basketball games late. The team that's winning is going to pull their players, right? So you're basically in these pick'em situations. It's like, all right, I'm getting 3 here. At some point, Texas is going to take the pedal off the metal, and Texas Tech will bury a couple of late layups here, and we'll backdoor this. I got to restart my app though. I better be getting the same number. All right, so I'm going to jump in on Texas Tech plus 20.5. UNLV is up 42-36 on Wyoming. It's going to be a close one coming down here. I'm not on either side of that. And Nevada and Colorado State are getting ready to tip off. Colorado State are minus 5.5 right now. The total is 137.5. And Vancouver have just scored. Boom.
Excellent. Calgary just scored 2. Excellent. Fantastic.
The Vancouver Canucks take a 1-0 lead at the 9:37 mark. And they're lethal when they score first, too, the Canucks. They don't lose a lot. Höglander with the goal. I don't know if you're seeing, McInnes, the stuff about the Pedersen contract talks. You follow a lot of hockey stuff. They're trying to make a big, even Vancouver media is like trying to cause a controversy about this. For the record, Pedersen's, he's going to be a free agent. His contract is up, and he hasn't re-signed yet. And I guess the Canucks have initiated talks a couple of times where it's like, all right, let's do this. Let's sit down and begin talks. And he hasn't, right? So I wouldn't make too much of it that he wants out or anything like that. As people that know him know, he's kind of a strange dude. He's like, he lives in his own little world and his own bubble and stuff. And he doesn't want to talk contract in the middle of the season, which you get that a lot with players. Not to mention, he was trying to rack up numbers so he can hit them for more money at the end. But he looked pretty happy on the ice, so they just scored right here. But what do you think about the Pedersen situation, McInnes?
I don't think it's 100% either way, Gabe. I don't think it's 100% he stays. I don't think it's 100% he's leaving. But I completely agree with you that people read way too far into the fact that a guy does not want to sign or talk about extension stuff during the season. Some players prefer to do it, afterwards. But I think he is an absolute superstar. I've been saying it for several years now. Even 3 or 4 years ago, I thought this was a superstar waiting to happen. And one thing about Pedersen is he actually plays with the size he has. He doesn't get bumped off the puck easily. He can play in the corners. He can score the goals in front of the net. But, of course, he's there for those nice goals. But, yeah, I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors about him going to Chicago. I've heard rumors about him going, to the Eastern Conference to some other teams. But the fact of the matter is,
hold on. Have you heard rumors, or did you see someone on Twitter say something stupid? Because I saw today Philadelphia Flyer fans were like, "Oh, we should trade for Pettersson." Like, he's not available. Like, did I miss something? Like, are the Canucks about to trade him, Cam? Like, what are you guys talking about? Like,
yeah, this whole story is being blown out of proportion. Like I told people, you're right, Morency. Relax. You're trying to get more points, get a better deal, and that's the whole thing.
He's a serious Swedish dude, Ken.
Yes,
he's not talking
exactly.
now. Like they even said, we'll talk after the year. He told them before, we'll talk after the year.
Yes, we'll talk after the year. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually the professional thing to do. I don't want to sign a guy mid-season either. I know you want to keep him around, but he'll get his money. The Canucks understand how important he is to that franchise. So I'm with you, Morency. Some of these reports, like these people just throw dirt at things. Like, it's like, get real, man. Get some sources.
Well, the Vancouver media as well, they're usually, things have never gone well for them. So it's like they're looking for something now to cause like some sort of controversy and problem around the team, which it's the least of the problems. This stuff happens all the time, whatever. I don't know. Like they're just, supposedly because the Canucks were baffled that it's not done yet, but I wouldn't panic about it. Although I will say, with my luck, out of all players, I could have got a signed Demko jersey. Instead, I got Pettersson, so he probably will leave. Actually, Cam. It's like probably it's out of all the jerseys I got, I could have gotten any. When I got it too, I was like, I should get Demko. I was like, it's the same thing that you said, McKinnis. I've been telling people for like 3 years. I mean, Pettersson's going to be a big time star. I'm like, this guy's going to be a big star. He's going to break out, and jersey's only like $299 or something. I'll get the Pettersson. Could have got the old Bure too.
I'm like a loser. I get the no name on the back because all my guys get traded. Or like that's the thing. I got like so many loser jerseys. Like Joey Galloway went to the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sitting there like a stooge. Rick Meyer to the Bears. I'm like every jersey I have. Like loser gets traded. Like keep it plain, please. That's the way I roll.
Oh, I have a ton of Raptor jerseys of players that no longer are on the team.
That's
so trust me.
Sounds like me with the abs.
I have to restart and 16 and a half right now. I couldn't get the 20 half, so I missed out on the bet because I had to restart the app. It was freezing on me. I had to restart. So Texas is up 57-35 right now. McKinnis, I saw you did some college basketball on your Twitter. That's pretty cool. Once that tournament starts, you got to believe there's going to be a book with some numbers up there for it. Like Bet99's probably the one. You got to believe. Like, there's got to be. How can there not be? That's one of the most frustrating things ever. I don't understand it. There used to be point spreads for the Vanier Cup. I would crush that, too.
They used to be.
And they'd even have the other ones.
Sport.
I don't get
Football's
this.
the only sport they'll do it for. Yeah, the only sport they'll do it for.
We'll see come when the tournament starts whether we can get some action in on it.
Nationals is in 2 weeks, Gabe.
It is, huh? All right, let me ask you. Cam is taking the Sharks tonight.
Yep.
I'm passing on this game. I'm showing discipline tonight, restraint a little bit here, just because this game is just so bad. But what are you doing with the game? Do you have an opinion?
So you're taking Texas Tech at plus 16.5. You're equating me like betting on a Sharks
20.5
game is worse. Okay, 20.5. That's the same
I have an angle to it.
What's the angle? What that they might come back?
No, they're not going to quit. They're not going to quit. They've already cut the lead already.
New Jersey should be minus 250. That's my freaking angle.
The Sharks are terrible, though.
They're horrible. Yes, they're at home. Horrible.
All right.
I know.
No, listen. I wish you the best of luck. I'm just saying. I'm passing.
I appreciate that. I really need help. Yeah. What are you
doing with that game?
Look, guys, I don't have the exact numbers here for you, the stats to rattle off, but I'll tell you one thing. New Jersey, especially in first periods, have been awful at home. On the road in the first period, they have been unbelievable. The difference, the road-home splits. I think I told you guys last Tuesday, I've been paying a lot more attention to road-home splits than I used to. I used to think it just doesn't matter anymore. Apparently it does. Even look at Colorado. Colorado goes on their road trip. They looked awful. Colorado comes back to Denver. They're a brand new team again. McKinnon starts scoring again. They start performing at a better rate. So You see a lot of times when you play these, inferior opponents, they kind of, get the lead, but then they kind of just don't really keep going. So I'm on the plus 115 first period three-way puck line here for the New Jersey Devils in the first period. To get off to a hot start, they are not happy. I've seen some really, really rough quotes from Lindy Ruff, no pun intended there, and the crew there from the Devils. I believe they get off to a really fast start in this one. So I'm going to take the Devils first period plus 115.
Devils first period. Cam, aren't you on the Sharks in the first period?
Yes, I am, Gabe. I'll take the Sharks in the first period here. Give me a plus a half, minus 140. I'll take over 1.5, and I'll take the money line at plus 160. I'm all in on this game tonight.
Wow. What are you, rich or something?
I hit the PGA winner this week, and I like to spend money when I got it, Gabe. Go Jake Knapp, my favorite guy.
Congratulations, Sam.
Mr. Knapp, thank you. Yeah, people don't know he's got a Canadian connection. Grandfather, big president of the Anaheim Ducks, like fan club and stuff. It's crazy. He's got an Anaheim Ducks logo on his golf shirt, and Morency was the best. He was winning. He goes, and his girlfriend flew in from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. She just started dating a guy weeks ago. He went from 0 career earnings to $2 million in a weekend. Nice catch, Mrs. Knapp.
Good timing.
Yeah, good timing to start a relationship. He's a millionaire.
At least he had her before the money, Cam. Hey, at least he had her before the money because, geez.
That's the thing. After the money, you got a question. It's all of a sudden you're flush, right? Why does she like me for my money or me? That's the thing.
31-29, Oklahoma City Thunder. Close one. Good stuff with Houston. We're on the Rockets plus the points. Hopefully they can continue to hang around. We'll hit this some more on the other side.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So, McKinnis, I understand a buddy of yours, his brother plays on the Coyotes, and he went on a brother's trip. Oh, Vancouver just scored. You could see it coming. Man, did Besser just score? I was going to take him, too. He scored 2 goals the last time these two teams played. It was Besser. Man, he scored 2 goals the last time they played.
What are we going to do? It's 2-0 already. We can't let Pittsburgh score. We got problems here. Let's go.
Vancouver will win 4-0 or something. Well, we're fine.
Yeah, okay.
I'm hoping for the best. Actually, I'm regretting taking the under right now. I wasn't going to do it. I jumped in at the last second and did it. But whatever. It is what it is. I also have the Canucks to win a division as well. So every point, every win I'm down with. But nice start for the Canucks here. They're up 2-0, but don't forget about the dreaded 2-0 lead. But McKinnis, I want to ask you, so your buddy's brother I didn't even realize that teams are doing this. I knew about the mother's trip. I knew about the father's trip. I didn't realize that teams are doing brothers' trips now. So if they're doing brothers' trips, so what? You're going to do a sister trip? Like, what's next? Like the dog trip?
Pet trip.
Like the pet trip? Like your plant's going to come on the road? We're going to take our plants out to dinner? Listen, I get it. You want to, it's a long grind of season and stuff. And you want the players to, be connected to their families a bit. I understand this. But you add all this up, man, between father's trips, mother's trips, sister's trips, brother's trips, the whole damn season's a trip.
You're right.
Can we worry about the damn game instead of taking mom out for dinner and going shopping in the morning? You know what I mean? It's a little bit much. How about we just have a banquet where everybody can come once a year? I'd be like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. I'd be like, listen, I'd be like the jerk owner. We're shutting all this stuff down. I'd be like, man, what are we doing here? What am I, travel agency?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, I tell you, how about this? You want to meet your father? How about you fly him in on your dime and you can take him out to dinner?
Please leave my property. No. Mr. Burns. Remember they're in the potato sack race? Get off my property.
I'd love to see an old school owner like Ballard of the Leaf tell him, sir, we want to pay for the fathers to come on. He'd be like, what? What are you talking about? He'd be like, you're fired. He'd be like,
he would fire you. You're absolutely
He didn't even want to pay for his own players to go on the road, let alone to bring other people. But it's just gone too far right now. We see this all the time too, and people think, oh, it's the father's trip. They're going to win or they're going to lose and stuff. It's like it has no whatever, right? The fathers get lit up, whatever. They have a good time. I get it, but I didn't realize that we're doing brothers trips now or siblings trips.
It's ridiculous.
And there's nothing to crush a sibling's life. Living like a professional athlete for a couple of days and then going back to his mundane world after the fact, that'd be like a serious letdown from going to city to city, restaurant to restaurant, 5-star hotels, back to Regina or back to Halifax would be quite the letdown, Cam, after. I'd almost rather not go for the 2-3 days and say, nah, I don't want to go.
You're eating 5-star, you're living like a king. Oh, man, I got to go back to the Amazon factory and drive forklift? Oh, this sucks. You said it, Renzi. Guy's living like a king, and then, work. Damn it, got to go home. Yeah, I'd be pissed because you're living like a king.
Let me ask you, what does your your brother, your buddy's brother had a great time, right, on the trip? They went out drinking, went out to dinner, is going to, living the high life like a professional athlete. Like I said, it's a bad, and another thing, don't tell me it helps the team because you're trying to impress everybody too. That's what's going to happen. If your little brother, your brother's coming, you're going to tell him, this is what it's like. This is what we do. You're not going to tell him, well, what we do is we go to bed at 10 o'clock and we wake up at 6 a.m. and I don't do anything. No, you're going to take the guy out and be like, wow, this is what we do when we get stupid. So then you're just getting stupid all the time. But what does your buddy do in real life, McInnes? We got a problem with McInnes here.
Cars.
He sells cars.
Sells cars.
We got that we got that little bit of a blip. All right, McKinnon's gonna have to reset. He's a car dealer.
Oh yeah, wow. Car dealer. I love it. Good gig.
Yeah, you lean on your NHL connections to try to sell cars to players.
Luxury car.
Vancouver nearly just scored again. So it's 2-0 in this game, as we Cam mentioned. The total could be a little bit cause for concern right now. It's 6.5, but the first period has come to a close, so we get out of it just with 2 goals. Updated number right now is 6.5, minus 140 to the under. The Canucks are minus 2.5, minus 120 right now. We're 4 minutes into the Devils and the Shark game, and we're scoreless here. In this one, the Devils are currently minus 250 favorites. The Sharks are plus 200. The total is 5.5. The Colorado Avalanche have a comfortable 4-1 lead on the Dallas Stars. As I brought up earlier, Stars played last night. You're playing in altitude. As the game goes on, it was going to catch up to them even more. It has 4-1 for the Colorado Avalanche. In-game total is currently 8.5. And the Kings and Flames are tied at 2. After 2 periods of play, in which this is the game that I knew was just going to be a stress job right to the end, Cam, so I passed on it. 2-2. I will say this, and we hit this bet last night with Boston and Seattle going to overtime.
Yeah, good pick.
That was plus 320. Dude, it wasn't even a good pick, man, Cam. It was 6 straight games that Boston have gone overtime.
Crazy.
It's not
and
like
Seattle
rocket
won,
science.
too. It's amazing. Boston loses all these games, Gabe, but they always get points. That's the whole thing. We talked about the NHL points
straight.
system. Yes.
6 straight overtimes for Boston and 7 of their last 8.
That's insane. We got to go to
6 straight. There was one that didn't, and the one before did. It's insanity. 7 of their last 8 games have gone overtime. At plus 300, at plus 320.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. But this is what we talked about, Morency. And I think it's really important now that they have to look at this. You need 3 points for a regulation win. You can't make up ground on anybody in the system that it's in. But Boston still loses, they win. They get points. It makes no sense, and it's a stupid concept to have 2 points. You have 3 for a regulation win, then we'll have things happen. That's what I would do in the boardroom, but these idiots won't change anything. It's stupid.
They actually do it in the women's league, the PWHL. You get 3 points for a regulation win.
Smart. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, they're the NHL, for whatever reason, they don't want to have. They said they don't want their points to be so high, which I don't really know what they care about at this point. It would be cleaner and it would be better for the league. The games would be better. The ends of the games would be better. Because now in an NHL game, in the last couple of minutes, let's say the last 5 minutes of a game, both teams are happy to get the point.
Yes.
So both teams will know, okay, listen, no one will do anything crazy here. Let's just get this to overtime, and then whatever, one of us will get the win, and one of us are going to get the point, and we're both going to be happy anyways. If you knew, listen, we got 3 points for a regulation win, you would see a lot of craziness at the end.
Right.
And it would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun with the playoff chase late in the season, because teams would be desperate to get 3 points instead of 2. So suddenly they would pull their goalie. They would be all desperate late. You know what I mean? No. We don't want the 2 or the 1. We want the 3. We need the 3. It would actually make things more entertaining. But as I stated, they don't want the standings to look like teams have like 210 points in a year and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why they don't do it. But the standings already are bastardized, and they're confusing already. Like, you look at the standings, it's like win, loss, win, overtime, win, loss, blah, blah, blah. There's like 5 categories that people don't, the common fan, whatever, it's not traditional anyways. So what tradition are you hanging on to? Of like, oh, we don't want the way our standings look. Who cares about what the standings look like?
Exactly.
You should be more concerned about quality of play more than anything. And it would be better quality of play if they did the 3-2-1. And it's not just because because the common thought is, well, you don't want to reward, you reward teams for losing. Fine, you're going to get a point for the tie anyways. But as I stated, it would make the games more entertaining because some teams would risk it. Some teams would be, it's sort of like football. Like some coaches would go for 2, some others don't. Some coaches would be, hey, I want the win. We need the win. And then you'd get like more entertaining hockey because coaches would be pulling their goalies. They'd be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. As I stated, in the PWHL, we got McInnes back. The PWHL McInnes gives 3 points for a regulation win. It's something that the NHL should consider, but they're not going to do it, right? They're not going to do it, but they should. And it would make the games more entertaining because now teams always play for overtime at the end. And I was just talking about the Boston Bruins, 6 straight overtimes now. 7 of their last 8 games have gone to overtime, and I got an overtime coming up right now. I'm going to take it at plus 170, McInnes. The Calgary Flames and the LA Kings to go to overtime at plus 170.
That could happen.
That's a good pick. And right now, I mean, these draw picks have gotten more and more popular, and it's the same reason you mentioned, Gabe, because realistically, I know they're not playing to lose, but at the same time, how does it make sense that a team that wins in overtime only gets 1 more point than the team that loses, right? You're talking about regulation victories, but the way I look at it as well is that should it only be a 1 more point difference for the team that won in overtime versus the team that lost? Because the team that's not as good on paper is going to park the bus like a soccer team in the World Cup that's way inferior and then just play for overtime. And then the team that's favored wins right away. That bottom team gets 1 point. I think it should be 3 points for regulation.
Like they have a big point lead. Now your goal is let's get a point. Let's get a point. Exactly what we were talking about. At the end of the game, you want a team to take a chance, Morency, and that's the thing. You watch these games close to the playoffs. Teams are already in or like right there. Can't let this team jump us. Yeah, we're tied in the 3rd period. That sounds great. We'll go to overtime. Exactly what you said. Take our chances. Shootout. Fine. You got to reward teams for taking a chance. I don't understand why these guys haven't done this stuff. It's not rocket science, but you said it. Well, I don't care what it looks like, how many points a team has. Change the game. It'll be better for the sport.
It is the 2 things that they should change is they should have a 3-2-1 format. 3 points for regulation win, 2 points if you win in overtime, and 1 point if you lose in overtime. So everyone's happy. And if you're a team, I don't know though why they're so adamant against it. They really are. Like I said, the PWHL is more progressive, right? Like the GMs never approve it. The owners don't want it. Bettman doesn't want the standings. Like I said, they're just against it. And the other one is their playoff format is whack now. Even though they get really cool first-round matchups, which they like, it's almost like they're guaranteed these TV ratings, and they take the ratings while they can get them because they know, well, we can't lose because we got these great series early, but that's got to be fixed as well. But it's another thing that I don't understand their logic behind it. Or lack of logic.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's rare in this day and age of the NBA to, miss one player and have the wheels fall off.
They're kind of hanging on to one of those final play-in tournament positions in the Eastern Conference. And there are teams like the Nets and the Bulls and the Raptors who are right in that same vicinity, who now they're looking and saying, well, if the Hawks are without a player like Trae Young, and we talk about how important he is, averaging over 26 points.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Watch the final seconds of Illinois and Penn State, and by Dave's reaction, you think you know what happened there. How about that, Dave? How about that?
We're off the rundown. Sorry. Storm the court. You beat the 12th team in the country. That's fine. Second best in the Big Ten. That's fine. We are Penn State. Look at the crew jumping. This is so much fun.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
This sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. All right, we've reestablished connection with Andrew McInnes. So, McInnes, you got a couple of plays for us on the way out here. What do you got for us?
Two plays, two different sports. I'll start with tomorrow. Guys, not the best price in the world here, but I've been loving these team totals. I love the spot tomorrow for the New York Rangers, up and over 3.5 goals. We'll take away the win, take away the regulation, take away the puck line. Get me to 4 goals here. I love rapid revenge. And if anybody wants a perfect example of rapid revenge, look at the Maple Leafs and Vegas Golden Knights game tonight. I mean, Maple Leafs absolutely destroyed them in Vegas, Sin City. Then they get back from their road trip. Vegas visits them. And pretty much the exact opposite happened. Vegas had their way with them in Toronto. Columbus won 4-2 over the New York Rangers. They're playing tomorrow. I believe the over 3.5 team total is a really good look for the New York Rangers to get back on track. And throw in some baseball. Everyone's hating on this team, and so am I. 61 wins last season. I'm going under 63.5 wins for the Chicago White Sox. I don't like that rotation. Bullpen looks weak, and there's not that many guys that really stand out as power hitters that are going to make a difference. For a team that wasn't very good last year, they didn't make very many changes, guys. So I like betting more unders than overs on win totals. However, I think the Dodgers over win totals is way better than betting into their run lines this year. But the White Sox is a team, guys, I look forward to fading this summer with you guys.
I like where you're going with that.
Yeah, I like it too.
63.5 is a low number, but the White Sox definitely, they're falling apart. They're getting rid of everybody. They're trying to get a new stadium. There's a lot of just that division is subpar though. That's my only deal there. You see the Dodgers today closed at minus 300 favorites against the White Sox. The White Sox were winning 4-1, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, I knew I was so smart that I took them. Yeah. Final score, 9-6 Dodgers.
Otani, D2, Gabe. What a start by these guys. They're 4-0 already. You can't stop this team.
They're 5-0-1. They haven't lost in the preseason either.
They're amazing. Hey, go.